Okay, well, welcome back, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It is part 3 for how to make a patch panel, and this is where we left off. I showed you guys how to manipulate all of the steel and get the contours to match the OEM panel that is still existing underneath this patch panel. This patch panel. I'm stumbling there. Alright, so if you're wondering why I'm wearing the same thing as my last upload, is because I'm still here at the shop from shooting my last upload. So it's late, you know, we're here burning the midnight oil. It's like, what, 9 o'clock at night, and it's dark out. Oh, it's 10? Okay, lovely. Alright, well, it's later than I thought. But hey, we're going to get you this upload. We're going to get you this knowledge so that you can do it the right way. You know it gets done the right way. And yeah, I'm just going to say that I appreciate you guys sticking by and, you know, being patient. I basically have made this channel so that I can get the knowledge out there. And if you are still watching, obviously, you want to learn. So with that said, let's start manipulating some metal. Alright, so I'm going to explain real quick the steps on where we're going to go with this, because the other uploads I realized have kind of been, you know, drawn out and overexpended with a lot of hot air. You know, it's hard to explain a lot of the things, and I feel like you've already got the general idea of how to work and manipulate this metal. So what I'm going to do is start folding this over and work this line here. That's going to basically start showing itself once I start folding it over the existing OEM panel behind. And then you can actually see too that I have a lot of actual, you know, steel that I've left over, you know, for a reason, to make myself, you know, not so worried about not having enough. So basically, with that said, you're going to go ahead and score the line with a paint marker or a fabrication crayon, and once you start folding this lip over, it's actually going to start drawing up this bottom plate here. That's, you know, this flap. So naturally that's going to happen, and then you're going to have, obviously, naturally, you know, once you start putting strain and stress on this, it's got to go somewhere. So it's going to start crinkling and buckling, and that's okay. Don't worry. That's when it comes time to do some shrinking, and yeah, you can actually shrink the metal itself. Now, in order to do so, you got to take the teeth on the shrinker, and they actually grab the panel and they pull it together, almost kind of like a Pepsi can, but they're like micro crushes, enough to you know, like little bevels and like little wrinkles. And you can bring it right over to the wheel. I can work that out nice and smooth, or take a flap disc to it, clean it up, and whatnot. You know, I can give you an idea of how it works. This is the shrinker handle. You know, bring it up and open, bring the steel up inside. You know, it comes down to the steel, and then as you bring the handle down, it brings the steel into itself, as you can see. So, mashes down onto itself, brings in, and then boom. So you'll be putting it in, and it's got about, I think, like 1/2 inch of travel on this shrinker. I'm pretty sure it's a 1/2 inch shrinker. But with that said, we're going to start working the lip, which is perfect because that lip for the OEM pinch welds that go around on the inside there, where we're going to fashion this back on in an OEM fashion, it is only 1/2 inch. So once we cut off that access, because that line is going to be shown, because we'll start folding that over, we'll take that panel off, bring it over here, put it in the shrinker. That's it. So, all right, let's get to work. Alright, so this is where I am. Now I got everything all manipulated, and the face is actually here, form fit, exactly where it's supposed to be. Everything else can be pretty much achieved with a little bit of dollying and whatnot. You know, you use a flat surface on the backside, and you peen your hammer down to the flat surface, and basically gives the contour in the desired shape. But you can see how much stretching and moving and manipulating of the metal that we've done just from an actual flat piece of steel. You know, it's all achievable through time and effort, and yeah, you gotta have to want to do this. You know, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, just like I said, and that shouldn't scare people away from doing it. You know, most people are probably going to watch this and get about 5 minutes into either part 1 or part 2 and go, oh, hell no, that's not for me. You know, well, how do you know it's not for you until you actually try it? So, with that said, I got a little bit of access over here on the side that I've got to trim up, because this is basically the edge here of where it's going to sit on the end of the rocker cap. So I can trim up some of this, and then I can start shrinking this. You can see this area where I shrunk, and I was able to achieve this pretty quickly. So basically now that I have this line and I know exactly where it's got to be, I'm able to draw my line, shrink this edge, start moving it over slowly, shrink, slowly move it down, shrink, you know, and when I say move it down, I mean this flap here, and start moving this in underneath towards the pinch weld, and then go from there, you know. So what's good about the pinch welds on this is they're actually still good, they're just crushed. You know, it's hard to see. Let me turn on a light. So they're crushed, you know, someone went to town on them. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pull those down later, get those out of the way, because I can't really make that pinch weld right now, because that pinch weld's not even in the place it's supposed to be, and it's holding up my steel right now. So that's where I'm at. So with that said, you know, I hate to do it to you, but there's a good chance there's going to be a part 4, so look for it. You know, I'm tired, it's late, we're going on 11:30, almost midnight now. You know, burning that midnight oil by the time we get out of here, clean up the shop, put everything away. It's going to be late. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the upload and watching me work. You know, it's always fun times here in Rumble Garage. So hey, with that said, I'm Bill Schneider. This is Rumble Garage. I work on only cars with the stars, Subaru only. Have a good night.